Okay, so we were talking about a place on the internet called the Manosphere, and
The manosphere.
The manosphere, that's right. Right, where men who have some issues, typically with women, go to complain, articulate, philosophize, etc. Right.
All right.
And we were talking about these pills. How there's a blue pill, a red pill, a black pill, and a purple pill. Primarily, I asked the question from a red pill perspective,
Okay.
which was they argue that men are naturally polyamorous and that women are naturally hypergamous. Not that the two are exclusive, not that men can't be hypergamous, not that women can't be polyamorous, but that those drives are very important for, particularly for women, this hypergamous thing, and that men need to understand that women are looking for both a man with the best genes and a man who can provide, and that those things come from evolution. That they're not good or bad, but they're actually drives that make sure that the next generation is better. Because they're always looking for the best possible option. But because of that, if you get in a relationship with them, you can end up getting ghosted or curved because, you know, in Draketon Town or whatever, that thing, right? you understand what I'm saying? Where it's like they're just, you know, they had that commercial sometimes where it's like, the guy with a nice car pulls up and the girl just fucking leaves with him even though she doesn't know who he is type shit. You know, and I don't know how real that is in real life, but there's an element to that, to this question of hypergamy. And, you know, the red pill statement, at least from the brothers I heard, is instead of going against that, instead of viewing it as negative, just embrace it and become that guy who has, you know, who works out, you know, works on his health, works on his finances, is a provider. Just be that rather than attacking it or critiquing it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah. So I think that the full meaning of it, like so many other aspects of human behavior in this society especially, is in a way parceled out from other aspects of humanity, of being a human being, that are not brought into the equation. So I wouldn't argue about those premises, okay, right? Like, I always go back to, and I think the presence of symbols reveals that people have been knowing about this for a long time. It's not new. So in the symbols you have the circle with the bar, or actually it's really a crossover bar with a circle around it as the symbol for women. And then you have a circle again with an arrow coming out. That arrow representing a vector in physics. That's what we call alpha, going somewhere to become something. So here you have these two symbols that have stood the test of time. What you're talking about is the extension from the circle and forgetting the circle.
Okay.
So, first of all, with all these pills, which they all make sense, they all represent something. But I think if you have the white pill as the pill of clarity, as the pill of mastery, as the pill of the reality of the dualities of life. The master is the one who understands that there is duality. You don't get rid of it.
There's a light and a dark side.
There's a light and a dark. That's right. And that it emanates from us, not from someone else. So the red pill person is looking at something that is reflected back that they misidentify as being in the other.
They don't see the mirror.
They don't see it as a mirror. They see it as that person is like that.
Yeah.
Right? They don't see it as that person is like something about me. So if you look in the outer and you stay with the outer, you forget the circle. It's all the circle. It all comes back to, it all emanates from the same thing. if you forget that, then you have a certain expectation. And that certain expectation is bound to be violated because you're leaving out half of reality. You know. So what is the point? Right? So let's say, I always think it kind of reminds me of like the baller concept. So here's the guy. So I'm a baller. Right? Well, what makes you a baller? Okay, well, I got all of these things that I'm presenting. You know, I've got a good job, or maybe I got my own business or whatever. I got it going on. You know, I work out. I look like I'm buff, like I just got stepped off the magazine Photoshop. You know, I'm intellectual, and I can just, you know, talk about whatever. And maybe from the standpoint of a behavioral expression, I actually do present all of the things that a woman would look at and say, yeah, I'm attracted to all of that. That's appealing to me. And I'm saying, for what purpose? So, you're appealing. You could magnetically attract women. You would. No question. And I'm saying, for what purpose?
On the red pill side of things?
The red pill, yeah.
I mean, they pretty much run to just have fun.
The red pill.
Hook up and have fun vibes.
Hook up. So red pill is on temporary reality, right?
Absolutely.
Red pill is on what we call the total hedonistic orientation towards the moment.
Absolutely.
I am in this for fun.
Pleasure.
I'm in this for pleasure. Or so, you know, in the yoga tradition, we talk about the three phases that human beings fall into. One being the blue pill. What they say, state of ignorance. You don't even realize the game going on.
Just like Raja.
You're
Thomas.
You're ready to be taken by whatever, you know, because you're operating on whatever you think is going on. It doesn't matter what you think, because whatever you think is not what actually is going on. So that's why they say ignorance. Then the next phase is what they say, the person that is driven by passion.
Right.
So you're talking about the person who's driven by passion now.
The red pill.
The red pill. 100% driven by passion. Right? And they can live that way. Right? But this is a person who doesn't actually know themselves. And they don't know the nature of things, the nature of the universe, which is why we're having this conversation. What is the nature that I'm not? That I am, but I reject. I don't think I don't know that I am, right? So that we are preoccupied with the outer experiences of that arrow, when that arrow takes off from the total and becomes an identified something, what we would call the creation. The universe as it presents itself in a certain form. So the red pill person is a person who is now so removed from totality that they're just really out there with form. And they're responding to all the forms, and like, yeah, they see the form and they think this is what I'm after, and this is how it goes. And
yeah, it's like looking at Agent Smith rather than the Matrix itself. And trying to analyze one characteristic and analyze it rather than understanding the architect and oracle and all that different.
Well, I don't know if they were looking at Agent Smith.
Or maybe the woman in the red dress.
Maybe the woman in the red dress. That might be more.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, because if they were looking at Agent Smith, they would eventually come to realize that Agent Smith is my darkness. These people don't realize that yet. If they're on red pill, they don't realize that they're just looking at their own darkness. So they're trying to what? They're trying to avoid the cause and effect relationship between their desire, their passion, and the outcome of that passion. They're trying to avoid that. But there is no avoiding it. There's no avoiding it. So just as soon as they run from totality, they will eventually run back to totality because there is no escape. It is what it is, not what they think it is.
So I think that their argument is about minimization, not escape. Because the black people are kind of, I'm done with this. Their thing is, I'm going to experience.
Well, they're on passion. I get it.
Yeah.
They're on passion, but I'm saying the bottom line is, why are they just focused on passion? Because of what they're trying to escape, which is the price of attachment.
That's a fact.
Right? The cost of attachment. Attachment is about energy exchange. And attachment demands equality. Whether you're about equality or not, it demands equality. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying, that they don't really understand the nature.
Reciprocity.
Yeah, reciprocity is a part of it. Attachment and reciprocity cannot be separated.
Yeah.
So those who would think that they can escape the payback, no, there's no escape. No, not really. So this person, so I see some of these people down the road later on, and they're miserable. They're miserable. They've had their fun. They've had their moments of passion. They've allowed themselves to be, how should I say, entertained by their passions. And did not put time in for attachment. And then they get down the road and then they have no attachment. And eventually the passion starts to die out. Because where's the passion coming from? It's coming from the source. It's not coming from their thoughts. It's coming from life itself. That passion, that's why, yeah, you do see that arrow, but that arrow what? Is coming out of the circle. It's a friendly reminder that in the end, it's totality that's in charge, not the arrow. So it's sort of like that in the Bhagavad Gita when the master says to the disciple, your point is to shoot this arrow. He said, but just remember that when the arrow is flying through the air, I am the arrow. And I'm the target. And I'm the force behind your pull on the bow. You see? So this is the totality now. This is the circle now. So eventually, this red pill person will, these passions will burn out eventually. And then what's left is ashes. So that's why the third level is the level of self-realization. Who am I actually? What is this actually? What is actually happening? Well, all of this is the dance of the circle. The circle has two sides. That's why it's one side, you get the cross. The interface between the inner world and the outer world, that's what the cross represents. That's why the woman brings the spirit from the spirit, the invisible, out into the visible. Because she represents the principle of the crossover. Whereas the man represents the expression into a certain form. Together, this is creation. The totality becoming something specific by evolving out of the invisible into the visible as a certain form. So the red pill guy is just very, very preoccupied with form and forgetting there's no form without the totality. So he thinks, you listen to him, he say, I don't need these bitches. They need me. Blah, 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 blah. That's his orientation. Time will tell. I always say time will tell. Life will show you, oh really?
Yeah, when you're older.
When you get old, life will be like, no, the whole time I was the one you were cussing out. I was the one you were using. Now, I'm taking your life force now. I gave you that life force. I'm taking it back. Now, what do you have to show for all your passion? You see? So, this is the red pill's illusion. Caught up in the Maya of expression.
I think that's what I'm going to call this video.
The red pill illusion.
It's gonna get some. You're gonna get some reaction.
Of course, I already know.
Yeah.
I know, cause I'm on white pill. I know.